Like, your backline means, like, if you guys want to come with me, backline means that you're just kind of like right here, and like everything is happening down that way. You know, offense is happening, people are looking for passes and whatnot. Let's say the disc turns over, and now you got to be the backline player. Being the backline player is like you're gonna want to know where clears are gonna be. So like, let's say the disc is on the right side of the field. You're gonna want to be like, you know, kind of just chilling, waiting for the clear. If you have another mid or another defensive player, you can have him posted up on the other side somewhere just randomly. But the main key thing you want to do is you can't show yourself. You got to be hiding like behind blocks, like right here. You're just looking at the disc through the wall, and you're waiting for a clear. And if it does happen, you know, if they do get the clear through, then that's when, you know, you need to get back and block shots and whatnot. Another thing that might happen is that they clear it or give a pass. So like right here, let's say they get the disc here. This is when you like need to start going home. If you're coming home, like let's say, because you were just right here, but now they have the disc right here, you're going home. You're gonna be in the middle of all the shots. So there's gonna be a boot shot right here. People are gonna shoot. There's gonna be a low shot right here, and the only other shot is if they throw it right at you. So you're just gonna want to be in the middle of everything, so you can either jump to catch it off the roof. You can duck to get the low shot or come back here and get it down there. Or, you know, you just want to be in the general area of all the shots that can happen. So that's what backline means to me, at least. The next thing I want to talk about, you guys have any questions about that, or backline, or catching clears, or
Where do you usually set yourself
20 year
up?
mid? So I will usually be... What's up? Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish.
No, you're good. You're good. What's up?
My question was, if they have the disc on this side, should I be waiting here in case they throw it down tunnel, or should I be on that side?
So there is a common rule, mostly, that if you get the disc, you want to clear cross. So it's kind of just a 50-50, honestly. You're not going to know where they're going to clear it, but you want to be able to catch the clear if it does go through one of these tunnels. And if you do have another player that you can kind of be like, yo, you know, you're my mid, go block over there. Then as soon as they put enough pressure, they're going to clear it one way or another. Because, you know, nobody clears down mid unless you're a psychopath.
Gotcha.
So,
how close should you be to, like, your teammates?
How close you should be. The next thing I was going to talk about was resets. I think the max, at least, I mean, not the max. Sometimes I'll move up, but I'm usually right about here. And if I see, like, my teammates are all covered and, you know, no passes are open, the next thing we're going to talk about is resets, by the way. This is what I'm doing. Is I will call for a reset. Calling for a reset, you know, if you see all the teammates are covered, or if you know the play is going bad, like, you know, as a goalie, you should be able to see, like, you know, your teammates down here. They have one guy coming onto them. They have one guy at pack that's covered, and the only other option they have is back to you. So that's when you would call, you know, reset. They throw the disc back, and then that's when you, as the goalie and the backliner, can kind of just sit here, and you're gonna have time, because now what they have to do is they have to send somebody out to come get you. And as soon as they send somebody out to come get you, math shows that, you know, they're gonna have one person open. Somebody's gonna be open. So that means all you have to do is get around this dude that's coming to get you, and you start the play again. That's basically the reset, you know, the strat. The god strat of resetting is just pulling somebody out. You get the reset, you look for the open guy, let's say he's down there, boom. You get the pass, and then they're going to have a lot more room to make cut passes and whatnot.
What do you do if they're not pressuring you, but you're down a goal? Like,
you're down a goal and they're not pressuring you, they're not pressuring you, you just move up. Just keep moving up. If they're not going to pressure you, then they're just going to give you a free one-on-one. Let's say they're sitting right here. You get as close as you can. You're gonna come down to this block. You're gonna make them come out to you, and then, you know, let's say you got a guy down there or whatever. If they let you go all the way, you take it all the way in, and you do a shot. They're gonna have to press you.
Sometimes they'll dry out.
Right. This is more the slow strat. This is kind of like the ins and outs of how I play goalie. So this is what I do. Like, if somebody's not coming out to pressure me, I'm just gonna walk it up. You know.
I've seen tons of goalies just like wait for ages, like a minute.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what Kango does. Kango will like to just sit here, and they'll make you come out to them, but usually they'll do that when they're up. They're not going to do that when they're down, because they'll just keep it up or whatever. But the next thing I wanted to talk, unless you guys don't have any questions, the next thing I was going to talk about was QBing, because, you know, goalkeepers usually QB. No questions? Resets, good?
you personally find yourself playing more of that defensive goalie where you're along here and you're hiding in the sides, or do you find yourself playing a lot more offensive when you are on even ground with your enemy?
Right. So I would say the difference, I think what you're asking is kind of the difference between when to know when to backline and when to know when to push up and play offense. Is that what you're saying? I would say when you're on QB and we're moving and you're moving up the disc, you're going to come up as far as right here. And then if they don't reset it to you or the play fails and they get the disc, then that's when you become the backliner and you're just going to go home on your own. Or you're going to catch a stack, or if they clear it somehow and you're still stuck right here, you're going to look for your teammates to boost back to goal. Your main thing is just, as soon as the play is bad, then that's when you go back and you got to start playing the back line, looking for clears, hiding behind blocks and whatnot. So that's what I would say when you're pushing up and the play fails and they don't get the reset out to you, then that's when you go back. That answer your question, kind of? What's that?
Like the way all of my teams have played, might be completely wrong, but we tend to have people generally pretty close so you can re-grab back.
Oh yeah.
You just go back by yourself. Or?
I'm looking at my notes up here. If you see me looking upright, I did put somewhere that as the back line, or and somewhere else on my notes that let's say that they get the clear through and they're all boosting back, it's just a race back to your goal because you couldn't get the clear. You're gonna either just look for the closest stack. You're gonna look for an enemy stack, a friendly stack, and you're just trying to get back to goal to do your job as fast as you can. Because then at that point you're not really looking for clears because the disc is already cleared. You feel me? So you're just panic, get home.
I tend to position really far back because sometimes if they get a good clear on the edge of the thing, is there anything wrong with being super far back?
Not really. Honestly, it kind of depends on how many clears are going through. If you find out that this team really likes to clear and all their clears are getting through and you're not set up for clears, then you can start playing further back because then that's how you're going to get more clears. It's just kind of knowing when there's way too many clears getting through and when you don't get set up and whatnot. Then that's when you can start playing that further back line. You don't mute yourself. I like your question.
I need to get pushed to questions.
Alright, so no more questions. You want me to go on to QB?
We're good.
Alright, Pog 10. You guys are great.
Poggers in the chat?
I hope I'm explaining things not too fast. Please let me know if you have any questions, dude. I got you. Anytime. Okay, now QB. QBing is really, really easy. Alright, you're gonna have your plays. You guys are all gonna have your own plays. All you're gonna have your own strats and whatnot. But basically, your job is as soon as you get rid of the disc, depending on what kind of defense they're doing, you just want to make it as annoying as possible to get back. Because after you give this disc up, they're all going to start going back. So, let's say they run a stack defense and they come zooming by you. You throw that pass, you turn around, and you're instantly getting in their face and, making it as hard as... Because if you stop that stack, and as long as you keep that stack stopped, if they do run stack defense, you're going to give your teammates more time on a 3-on-2 situation. Because you got two people back here stunned, you're blocking, you're being annoying, you're on their feet like this, you're not letting them go anywhere. That almost every single time that you keep this stack down here, you're going to score. Just because it's a 3-on-2, you're always going to have that open cut pass or reset or whatever you need. So QB is basically revolves around you getting rid of the disc and being as annoying as possible to whoever is coming in. If it's just one dude, you can punch him and then keep going, and then he's going to be stuck back there. If they don't stack you at all, then you're just going to move the disc up, and then as soon as they come get you, you just you dish the disc off and you punch them then. Your goal. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, when you get...
Oh, you lagged? You said when you get...
Sorry, hold up. When I played wireless jacks for the first time, they go super quick, and we had, big issues, getting to the disc in the first place. What's the most, viable way?
So, I feel like there's not really... I don't know. There's definitely times where I've been stacked on really, really fast and I've lost the disc. What I usually will do, I feel like going second out of the two. So you're going to have one guy, and then you're the QB. This guy's boosting you out, and then these other two on your back are going to do whatever they're going to do. But I always find it that as second, you'll get stacked on sometimes if they're fast, but if you have trouble doing it, you can just get the disc and just like come down here. There's no way that they can stack unless they know that you've done it before and they stack through here. There's no way that they're gonna come get you from from there. So I find this side of the block is super good on like playing defense in terms of like if they come at you really fast. You could like I've done it where I'll grab it and then you throw off that way, or you let's say it's right here and you just go and you're under it and they go straight by you or something like that. So if you have problems getting the disc off of this block, just use it as too much as your to your advantage in terms of how big it is and whatnot. Sometimes they will they'll crawl over and punch you maybe, but by that time you'll give a pass off or somewhere else. So that's pretty much QBing, I think. Let me look at my notes, hold on. Baiting and stack, keeping stack tied up, being annoying to stack around. Also, if the stack does get by, because you can hold the stack if they do run stack defense for as long as you can, but they will get by you at some point. You need to, as your backliner, goalie, all that stuff, you need to let your teammates know that they're coming back, because your team is like, while you're keeping the stack tied up, your team is like playing offense, they're looking for passes. If that stack comes right back, like right through my back and just grabs this disc, the play's over. So letting your team know that the stack is coming back is super huge if they do run stacks. Next thing is in-goal goalkeeping. So like actual block, right here, all around here. In-goal goalkeeping. I would say in the upper leagues, you're gonna know. In the upper leagues, usually it's always gonna be a cut pass, always. So if you see some guy coming in from right here, if you stop right there, Gizmo, I know that this guy right here is getting the cut pass. So I'm gonna say, screw this guy, and I'm going straight for Nate. Because if Nate gets that pass and then he drops it, whatever. If they're getting cut passes in the bubble, you gotta jump out at the cut pass. Or sometimes they'll start reading you and they'll just start shooting on you. But if they're like deep, if they're like right here, you should save this cut pass 100% of the time because they're so deep. Right here, if they do a cut pass right here, there's not much you can do. That's going to be pretty much luck at that point if you save it. But these deep ones from stick even and back here and under down there, you're just going to want to look and know where everybody's at. You're going to want to know to cut down here. If somebody's up top waiting for a cut pass, you can even get, up here and just let them know that that's not a safe pass because you're up here. But just seeing cut passes and cutting them off is super, super huge. Any questions on that?
So,
Yo.
I just lost it.
No, you're good.
Right. So, when somebody is in melee range and they're real fucking close, you don't know what shot's gonna go. A lot of the times, I find myself just trying to two-hand it and just trying to angel wings my way around, just try and sporadically try and catch it. Do you recommend if they're real close, oh shit, I don't have brake because I dropped my controller. But if they're this,
so you're talking about when they're on you trying to punch you? Is that what you mean?
When they're not even when they're trying to punch you. The guy has disc. He's 12 years old. He's calling you names and he's flinging the disc around. He's about to score. Do you recommend just fucking yeeting yourself at him and just?
Are you talking about so he's right here? You want me to come punch him? You want me to rush him and just pop right in his head?
When should you attack and try and take the disc, and when should you just try and two-hand it?
Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I would say if people are doing what Gizmo just did, the underhand, overhand, all this random stuff, they don't know what they're doing for this, and you come out and punch them then. But other than that, if they're just coming straight on, just cocked back and ready to shoot at any moment, I would just say stay in the goal. But if they're doing a whole bunch of behind the back and they're spinning and they're doing a whole bunch of stuff with their controller, then that means that it's gonna be way harder to know where it's gonna be if they're spinning and doing all the front flips and shit. So if they're using their controller and their brain has to do one extra thing, just rush them and they might panic and drop it.
Okay.
There's no way you can save every two, by the way. I hope you guys know that. There's not a way to save every single point. I know, there's times when you can't pop off. I don't know.
No, that's why I'm here, actually.
You're insane. You're insane. I got it. But I was just saying, you're there mostly to stop threes. Is basically what a job as a goalie is. But I would say Okay, the next thing, in-goal goalkeeping, the next thing I want to talk about was brain plays, is what I call it. Mostly it's just like knowing who you're playing against, right? So I would say, like, you know that there's like going to be some guy, like, I don't know if you guys, I'm just going to think of a pub guy, but just somebody who like jukes a lot, you know that they're going to want to duck, or you know that somebody's going to want to come to shield, an anchor shot off a shield, or something Game does is he'll come like right here, and then he'll always shoot like right there, and he'll shoot.
Yes, he does.
So you just gotta know. I would say knowing who you're playing against is super huge. Like if you know that there's one. You just were talking about wireless jacks. Will I am always throws like this. He comes underhand and he flicks it. Knowing that is super huge because if Will's coming onto you, you're not going to worry about the top. You're just going to come out and guard low because that's how he throws. Knowing how people throw is huge. Knowing if they're left-handed and right-handed is huge. You know, if you got the disc and they're off, you know, they're not dominant hand, you're going to want to go rush them because, you know, they're not used to that and they might not make it. But just like knowing the players. Go ahead.
Speaking of that, so
go ahead.
Guy's coming at you. You're trying to track him. You just said, all right, this guy, you know, he shoots low, so you want to be low.
Yep.
One of the things that I do that I watched this when Alduin was instructing in a video is he said basically you track with one hand and you have your other hand like on guard center of field. Do you find yourself if they're coming top and you don't know which pocket he's going to go into? Do you like track with one hand and keep your other one for like quick sneaky grabs? Or?
I usually will track. It depends. Honestly, it's like, so I've had plenty of goals recently scored on me where they'll come like right here and then they're doing like up, down, like they don't know where they're going to throw it. I would track in that scenario where they're floating backwards. I'm tracking with both hands. But if they come in like, you know, and they're like juking and all this stuff, I would track with one hand and then I would go for the punch with the other hand probably. In my eyes, if they're coming straight at you, you go for the punch and you go for the disc, you have a higher chance. But if they're floating like away and it's like they're just trying to juke you, then you're gonna want to track with both hands because at that point they're not rushing you, and they're only gonna throw it at a certain speed going backwards. You feel me? So I would say there's good times to rush, punch, and grab the disc, and there's good times to track with both hands. In goal, or you can do your preferred method of, you know, holding the block and then tracking that way. But yeah, that's kind of when you would go out and in. But yeah, that's kind of the mental thing. This player likes to duck, so I'm gonna come out and go low on him and punch him in the head. Or, you know, this player likes to anchor shot off his shield, so I'll be ready for that 3-point shot or whatever. It's super huge. Any other questions, boys, ladies, gentlemen? Questions? Cam, hit me, baby. Let's go.
Why do you see all like the top goalies not use the block? They just, what's so bad about the block that no one uses it?
I would honestly, I don't know. I use the block. I would just say I learned my strat from Sputnik, and Sputnik does two-hand goalie. That's when I officially switched over. I find more success that way. But there is definitely times where I've been like in goal all game, and they start dunking on me. Dunking is super duper hard to save when you're not on the block because then you can't jump up. So I would say I like to use two-hand, but then as soon as I feel like I'm getting scored on a lot, then that's when I'm going to start using the block and or rushing out at you and punching you in the head, you know? Because they're going to expect you sitting right here, and then they start dunking on you. There's not much you can do.
The way that I had it explained to me is two-handed versus block goalie. It's kind of the difference between like hip firing versus lining down the sights with the gun. Like when you're two-handed, you're lining down the sights. You have an increased chance of grabbing the disc because you have both hands. But your field of view is limited, and you can't move around to like as much.
That's a great way to put it. I would think. I would say kind of like that. You know, if you're focusing more on where the disc is going to be, you're not focused on coming out and rushing them or punching them. So yeah, I would say there's certain scenarios where both work. Go ahead, Cam. Sorry.
How do you save, like, if someone shoots like way down here, right? And you're like here, like even if I duck, I can't get there.
So it's more just how you place yourself in the goal. Like I don't like. I know there's people that like, all right, I'm gonna put this block to my chest. Okay, I'm officially in the middle of the goal. There's not really time where you can do that. Usually, depending on where the player is coming from, is where I'm gonna position myself. So I'm coming back to goal. There's a guy low right. He's coming to score on me. I'm right here on this side. He can shoot like way up here, but that's a really hard shot from his angle. So if he's bottom right, you're right here. Same thing bottom left. If he's top, you're up here, or at least how I am. Two-hand goaling is more just if like they're coming straight at you, like off a shield. It's more, it's where they're coming from, right? So if he's coming from shield, I'm in the middle of the goal. If he shoots low, I can kind of get there. There's always spots that, I don't know, I'm not a big dude, right? I'm 5'11", something like that. I can't cover everything, but if he wants to put one at the very tippity top, you know, I'll give it to him, right? But usually it's just kind of how where the player's coming from is where you're going to position yourself.
So it's kind of just minimizing the angle.
Yeah, it honestly is minimizing the angle. That's exactly. I think that's actually what I was going to talk about next. If anybody has any other questions. No? We're good? We're good on that? All right, perfect. Next thing I was going to say was, well, I could bring that up too. Like cutting off angles, that means like also it has a mental thing too. If you know people that like to shoot off the backboard, Callan likes to shoot off the backboard, QL Young, a whole bunch of other people do. What I do usually is if I see them, you know, some of these shots off backboard are hard to get. If you're right here and you're the goalie and I see him winding up for the backboard, I don't want to turn around and just, you know, wait for the shot, right? Because that's, even sometimes I miss the shot. What I'll do is if I know that they're going backboard, I'm throwing myself back there to catch it like this. If these diamond ones right here, they shoot like right off of this side. If I know that they're winding up for that, I'm off the bat and I'm right here. It's just, it's getting to this angle before it happens.
So what if
so
kind
you don't
like,
just like sorry, Cam, you go first.
Yeah.
I know you.
Go ahead, Sensei. You go.
Okay, all right. So that's actually, I've never heard that before. When I'm talking about like backboard shots, my instinct is to just turn around and try and save it off the backboard.
Yeah.
But you think that it might be best to actually just go to the backboard and save it coming straight on.
And pin that shit against the wall, because it's hard to guess on some of these backboard. On some of these pyramid ones, sometimes they'll go right here. Sometimes they'll go up and wide. It's really hard to guess them. So if you just throw yourself back there and just like try to pin it against the wall, I find that is the best method of saving backboard shots.
What time do you go? So if you're like here and you think they're gonna throw backboard, do you go like as soon as you think they're going, or like as soon as they let go of the disc?
So on some people, you just know that it's really hard to tell. Like it's like a whole mind thing for me. I just know when they're going backboard. It's usually how they wind up. Like if you're down here, like what Callan does is he shoots underhand. And there's no, I think he does. There's no way that you can underhand upwards like that. So as soon as I see him like kind of winding up for it, I'm just gonna throw myself out. And even sometimes, but also by the way, if you mess up, right, and they throw the straight on shot and they're not throwing backboard, you have enough time to slap yourself off of it and come back through goal and make like one more last attempt to save anything that's coming through. If you do mess up, because it has happened to me before where I'll be like, oh, I'm guessing low, and then I'll come out and then it's not there and I'll just come back out. Cool. But yeah, and that's the same thing if somebody's coming in right here, like on the front of goal. I don't know if they're going to go backboard or not, but if you come in at this angle, exactly where Septic is, there's only like 2 spots where he can score. He can go like right here, and he can go like right here. If you have your hands in this spot auto-grabbing, I'm pretty sure, unless he is a super accurate shot up in this corner or he hooks it in right here, there's no way that he can score where my auto-grab isn't going to automatically grab the disc. And then at that point, I'm just throwing it out. But it's just knowing what angle he's coming in at, knowing what angles your opponent has, knowing where to put your hands. It's kind of just, you know, you got high, you got low. Or if you turn this way, you got high, you got low. You know, straight on, it's a little bit harder. Those ones are harder to save, but it makes the save a lot easier. Sometimes even if they're coming up from like right here and you know that they're probably not going to go backward, the only shot that they have is if they come straight up this way. And if you come out like this, like in this area, if he's like right here, excuse my language, I'm massive, right? There's no way this man is going to get the disc through me if I'm over him like this, right? Like low, no, I'm sorry, but there's no chance you're scoring, ever. You know? You feel me? Like if you get in his face and you cut off the angle, you're good.
So a lot of times, what I'm worried about is sitting down, so I just got.
No problem.
All right, so like I'm in here.
Yep.
Right, and let's say I have a guy coming this way, so I position myself a little bit this way. I'm tracking him. I got this hand here to try and cut this off. My problem is I'm thinking if I do this, if I cut myself off, they're gonna score here. That's my concern. So you really recommend like, you know,
so
just
Lolo's
cover
right
your
here?
biggest areas?
So where's the guy scoring? Is the guy scoring right here?
This guy's scoring from like right here. He's swinging around this way, and he's coming in diagonal. I don't want to leave this uncovered.
Right. I would say you cover right here, and you cover right here.
I think you could come a little bit closer to this side.
At that point, if they want to score, they're gonna have to go cross your body and like right here. Like right where this guy was, like right in this area, and nobody's angling, you know, nobody's shooting through your body, right? Yeah. You know, or at least aiming for it. So I would say cutting the close angle off is going to be a little bit more important than cutting the long angle off. And even if you do see him, like, you know, let's say he pump fakes you, like he's going to go there, and your hands are there, and he's like, oh, you know, I can't go there. Then he might come around this way, and then that's when you change your hands and you're tracking. You feel me? Okay. Because then that's when you can kind of just track him, and at that point he's panicking. So.
Yeah, a great idea to memorize where they shoot using Ignite, and then just aim your hands there at all times.
Exactly.
Depending on the player.
No, any other questions, boys? Cass, you've been quiet. Nabro has been quiet. Gizmo.
Got ignored.
Yeah, I got one.
Cam, Cam.
Competitively, is using the Ignite VR bot a viable option because it shows where they shoot? Is that a viable option?
I'll be honest,
but no.
What?
I'll be honest, I have not used it, so I wouldn't know. I just know from playing against these guys for a super long time, you'll kind of get that, you know, in quotations, relationship with the people that you play with. But I would say, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a valid option.
Wait, what was that?
So there's this bot that Ignite does where it tracks where every shot is taken and where it's taken from. He's saying that you just look up the players before your game the next morning, and then you can see where they're gonna shoot.
It's got like a shot map of where they shooting the goal.
Thing?
Yeah, well, it's like the Nightbot thing where they, you know, it shows where each player shoots. It has like a heat map of where each player likes to shoot on goal. I don't know if that's a valid thing.
It's like a 75% chance if there's a spectator in your match, it's Ignite.
Right. It might work against like Enderslot or BTS because they have thousands and thousands of pubs played, but I don't know about these other guys. So
my personal favorite cheat is to just take my Ethernet, put it between my butt cheeks, and when I need to teleport across the map, I just squeeze.
Yep.
My thing shoots right up.
There you go. I like it. I respect it.
I mean, that's that GOS.
That's called lock switching though, so you gotta be careful though.
I was gonna say another thing in goal is the goalie's comms. I feel like in goal the goalie is like kind of the most important player because this guy can see pretty much everything. If there's a guy right here that you want covered, you're gonna be like, all right, there's an open guy bottom right. You know, there's an open guy bottom left. There's a guy on shoulder. They're above me right here. They're below me. If you're letting your team know that that's where the people are, then they're gonna get covered, or you know that's what you should be telling your teammates to is to cover them. I would say another thing is if you see like you got a teammate over on the left side that's got somebody covered, you see somebody low right, and then you see somebody low left that's like not covered, you can kind of be like, all right, it's gonna go low right, and then watch out for this pass because if that pass gets through, then you know that pass is gonna work. So I would knowing like where the enemy is passing to and where the enemy might pass to next if your teammate doesn't get there quick enough, because you know you can call out where everybody's at, but at times there's going to be points where your teammates aren't going to be able to get there fast enough. So let's say you call that out, it gets through, whatever, the pass gets there. Now you've got to instantly think, even when the pass is in the air going towards them, you got to be like, okay, where are they going next? What could really screw me over right now? Like this guy down here, over here. Just knowing where the next pass is going to be is super huge, and letting your team, get that step up on terms of, letting them know where it's going to be is super good as well. That's what I would say about that. Any more questions? Go ahead.
When you're just coming through, right there.
Yeah.
How do you save the pockets easily.
Save the pocket one? See, that's, you know, it's hard. It honestly is. I would say most players, unless you're playing against the top league guys, aren't going to be able to shoot pockets reliably. I would say, you know, they're really, it's like saying, how do you save the upper 90 in a soccer game, right? It's a really good shot, and it's going to get through most of the time. I would say if you know that, like, game does something all the time, he'll come right under here, and he's always shooting low. Sometimes Ryan will come off a right shield, and he'll shoot into left or right corner. I would say your best bet is just knowing, you know, that it's happened to you before, and, you know, all right, let me pick a corner, you know, go for that corner to see if that's what he's going to do, is your best bet. Honestly, it's a great shot if they do get it. But, you know, other than that, I don't know. Cam Jam, your question?
Okay, yeah, what? Lola, here, give me this. Give me.
Wait, hold on.
Whoa.
Try again. Go again. Oh, your mic's so
Dash mic.
Speaking of soft, like inside voice. Hello. Oh, it's perfect. Keep going.
Or do that again.
Sometimes. No, okay. So, like sometimes, like I see lots of like goalies get confused, like with these like cross goal passes. Like someone comes up here, the goalie pushes out, and then I like pass it over there.
That's a great.
And then
pass.
they score.
Yeah.
Like I've done that in game, and the goalie gets like all confused. Like, what do you do as a goalie?
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're
like
good enough, they're gonna beat you every time.
If a pass like that happens, it's a really, like I said, at the end of the day, your goal basically is to stop 3-pointers. Your main thing is to make sure that, like, you know, when I was talking about earlier, that they can't get this boop shot or low shot or straight on shot. That's basically your job. You're going to try your best in goal, and you might save a couple of these, but it's going to be really hard to save all of them. But I would say in that scenario, just knowing where the disc might be, like, you know, if they're right here and they come up to do that exact pass, they're gonna do it like right here, probably, right?
Just do something like that.
I would do something like that, probably. It depends on where the pass is gonna be, because they might get the pass like right here, anyways. But I would say at some point you're gonna either rush him, or the pass gets through, and you're just gonna say, all right, screw that guy, and you're just gonna look straight on to where the pass is going. And at that point where they get you pretty good, like this guy's coming up behind you to come punch you, you might as well just throw yourself at wherever the pass is, because at that point they pretty much bamboozled you. So there's not a whole lot left you can do other than, okay, they get the pass off. All right, screw it. I'm sending it to wherever it's going to be.
You've heard it, folks. All hope is lost.
Yeah, pretty much. There's gonna there's gonna be stuff you can't say for sure, but
like Kangas are really good.
Oh yeah, Kanga is really great. Like that's a lot. Like the first time I played really well against Kango, I pretty much just jumped out at every single cut pass I thought was gonna happen. This is what I also wrote in my notes earlier, that even if you, like, let's say Gizmo's right here and somebody's on right stick. Let's say they come in from right stick and they have this guy open. Honestly, if you come out and go for Gizmo and they just throw the disc in, just like, you know, because you're not there, I would say it's honestly not even that embarrassing. It might look embarrassing because you made the wrong guess, but, like, you know, 6 out of 10 times he's gonna make that pass, right? So it's either you give them the open 2 or you make the read and you can make a play. So I would say if you are jumping out of passes a lot, and sometimes, you know, if you were to come in low, like right now, just like come in, I go, okay, he's gonna go there, and then you just get that. It's whatever. It happens, right? You tried to make the play and it didn't work out. That's whatever. That's when, like Lolo right there just read me. He read that I was gonna come out, so he's just gonna take it in. That's when you start playing. You know, you start, you know, all right. Well, now that they're reading me come out, I'm just gonna start staying in goal, and then you can, you know, make that switch or that flip. Start playing a new style of goalie. But yeah, it's gonna happen. You might look stupid, but it's okay. You're just gonna have to change your style. Any more questions? Lolo, what do you think? No? Okay, Gizmo? How you doing? Are you good? Okay, good. Skill? Guy? Okay, you're good. Everybody's good? Okay, we'll move on. I only got a few more things left. I know it's only been a half an hour, so I don't know how in depth you guys thought it was gonna be. I hope I'm coming through kind of in educationally. Is that a word?
I mean, you're answering like all my questions as I get the questions, so it's pretty good, I think.
Awesome. I would say the last. Thank you guys. I love it. I love the motivation. I would say the last couple of things is like, let's say you're coming back on defense. I would say, you know, if you're stacking with somebody, like let's say I should have went over this earlier, but if you're coming back on defense and you're stacking with a teammate, your teammate or your team should always know that you're the goalie and you're going back to goal. As soon as you get to goal, if you know, let's say there's a guy down here and he has this, you got to know, okay, that guy has a shot. As soon as I get back to goal, I need to be ready, right? Because they're going to throw that shot some of the time. And there's been so many times where people are coming back on defense and they just miss, or they go through and they headbutt and then they're over here and then it's just open three. I would say, depending on where they are coming back, if they're bottom right, if they're under you, if they're top, just know, I would say this is easier to catch. This whole rim right here is easier to catch than this block, because if you miss the block, you go through it, and then let's say you mess up even harder and you hit this, you're going full speed, boom, like you're gone, right? That's an open goal for, you know, everybody and their grandma can make that shot. But if you come through and you're like, okay, you know, I know he's trying to shoot from top, let me come grab this, boom, turn, and you're already ready to try to save the shot. Or if he's low right, you know, you're coming back on defense, you're going a million miles an hour, you go, boom, right here. You know, you have the shot, you have the backboard shot. It's just, I would say the rim is easier to catch than the block, unless you get really good at catching the block.
One thing that I'm pretty proud about is
hit me, Seth.
I've done some exercises. If I'm coming full-blown Larry, like double regrab towards the net, like I've gotten really good at breaking right where I need to be, and just absolutely, well, I probably don't save it, but like I'm just so impressed because I braked it right. Like I'm fast and furious. It's great.
See, that would be good. I would say at some points, like watch, if I'm full speed and I click my brake, you see how I kind of have like a little, I go like that much farther before I actually stop. It's like actual brakes in real life. You know, you hit the brakes on your car, you're gonna go skidding, right? I would say that if you're coming full blown, coming back, your brake might slow you down, but if you brake right here and you mess up, and then you're all discombobulated, I would say grabbing something and instantly stopping yourself might be better. I don't know. And like I said, everybody's gonna have their own play style. You guys are gonna take what I learned or what I have, and you're just gonna, you know, do your own thing. But I would say maybe coming back, just grabbing something to fully stop rather than like skid stopping might be a better play. But I don't know. That could be the meta. That could be the meta. I have no idea.
That's kind of like my only skill. I'm pretty good at it.
Hey, yo, bro, you should, you know, patent it and keep it going. Trademark it. You know, the aesthetic stop. You know,
aesthetic skid. All right.
But yeah, coming on back on defense, blocking the shot. Okay, calling out everything. Okay, Cam Jam, question, go.
You know when you're like not looking at the disc and then that little like disc icon pops up?
Sure.
On the screen. Do you utilize that at all when you're coming back to it?
I would say I probably more utilize the sound. Like let's say they like what you were saying earlier. If that pass is coming up through here, and I hear like the let go and like the fly sound, like that sound, then I know that pass went through. If it isn't in the goal, obviously, and if it goes back, I more use like the of like the disc going by you than I use the disc icon.
When did they hire you to make the sound effects? That was sick.
Here, let me try it. In the goal. You know? Exactly. Yep.
New lightsaber effect.
Yep. Exactly. But other than that, no, I probably don't use the icon too much. Go ahead. You had a question, Cedric? You were talking? Lolo? Mr. Nate?
No, I was just laughing because instead of the whoosh noise, I was picturing what if it went hey-ya?
Hey-ya! Just random sound effects. Maybe they should add that like DLC that you can set the disc to make random
extra
noises.
$10 for the sounds to be different.
I would definitely pay for my disc to like have like a cool little puppy or something on top.
No, wait.
Just that like, is constantly spinning.
His skins?
Yeah.
Dude, you guys heard you miss a shot, it goes in the net, just the Minecraft death noise plays. I'd pay like $10 for that.
I'm still waiting for
Wait, have you guys heard
that goal explosions?
That one vine of the dude going
Okay, I'm low-key wrapping it up. Does anybody else have any other major questions or anything you want to let me know? Set it! Let's go!
Do you have any like big boy exercises that you do before a game or a pug?
Honestly, I do not. I bet there is one out there. Usually, maybe I'll get in the game and I'll be like, all right, you know, striker, whoever's on my team, start shooting on me. That might happen, or if I'm just sitting in the goal and the team starts shooting on me anyways, I might get a little warm up. But I don't know if you've played the tutorial back in the recent new one they put out, but they have a goalie thing that you can do, and it's really cool. I wish that they put it like in the game, but no, I don't think there's a warm up thing.
From what I know, you have to actually go through the whole tutorial to get to that spot again.
Right, yeah. But they should just take that little segment and just like have like a little thing on your arm that could be like, you know, warm up, and then you could like have the bots shoot on you.
Yeah, you know, like the thing with like that sports ball when they have the bats and like there's the machine gun shooting the balls. That'd be cool if they did something like that.
A training mode would be legit.
Cam, question?
Right.
Do you have a question? No. Gizmo, question? Steal? My guy.
No, I just want to see you.
Should I as a goalie be practicing shooting still? Or
that's a great question. I'll be honest. I'm very bad at shooting. Very bad at long shots. But passing is huge as a goalie. You got to have your passes super down. I would say more focus on your 2v or on your 1v1. Like if you're coming in right here, I would focus on scoring this goal rather than I would focus on scoring a tunnel goal or a boot shot or one of those. Because it's nice. Oh my bad. It's nice to make those, but at the same time, I'm not sure how reliable you can make it, rather than making your 1v1s more reliable. You feel me? More important.
Sometimes I find myself in scenarios where I can shoot a shot, but
right.
Like,
I would shoot it.
Accuracy is bad.
Right.
So
I would shoot it.
It just kind of misses.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have been practicing shooting and actually making those. So
yeah, it's always good to have. It's always good to have.
You know what I did is like in my mid 30s, 40s, not my age, my level. I was really
like goal.
You legit got me there for a second.
Alduin explained it like everybody gets really bad at shooting in like their 30s and 40s because they get used to like throwing it really hard and they lose tracking. So I was getting real like salty because I just could not get accurate shots. I went into the lobby, stood in front of the training one, and just kept yeeting discs at that shield, trying to consistently get it. And when I got really good at that, and they were fast and accurate and went exactly where I went, I turned around and I did it this way, which is way harder. And that helped with my accuracy a lot, because you have to hit this middle part right here in order for it to come back.
I like it.
So that's a good way to increase your accuracy and your speed, and also make yourself really upsetty spaghetti.
If you open your virtual desktop and you go and you click on your game, and then you click, I think it's F10. If you click F10, it'll show you the disc velocity and how much speed you got from your arm and how much speed you got from your wrist and all that stuff. Okay. That also might help you, you know, if you throw a really fast shot, you can be like, okay, well that form, you know, let me throw 17.49 or whatever. The scoreboard, if you're aiming for 18, by the way, goes over, you know, if it's over 17.5, I'm pretty sure it counts as 18.
Do you know how Whoosh got that 20?
See, that's what's weird, because some dunks
bar hit a 20 on the clock.
Yeah. Some people, like, I think it even happened to me one time. I dunked it, like, really hard, like, as hard as I possibly could dunk, and it said, like, 24 or something. But, yeah, I think on the board, it's supposed to be fixed at 19, but somehow people
I don't think it's, like, physically possible to get, like, a proper 19 on your F10.
Right.
I mean, unless this dunk thing is kind of...
Right. The dunk thing shows 20 on the board, but other than that, I think the fastest you can throw it is 90 or 19.
I've been told that they capped it at 19 if you throw it, but headbutts have no cap.
Yep. What'd you
That's
say,
not a joke.
Sorry?
I've been told headbutts have no cap if you headbutt the disc.
Yep, that is
That's
true.
not a joke.
Not a joke.
That's not like full circle from earlier. I've just heard that.
That's why when people are jousting and they go for the headbutt, it's always so freaking fast, because they come out of the tube with like 30 meters a second, and then they hit it with their head, and the disc goes that fast.
Wait, is that an actual strat?
Yeah, headbutting on joust is a.
Did you never?
I thought people were just fucking with me.
No, I'm not really. Sometimes, at least with my experience, I'll headbutt it and it'll come straight back, and it's terrible. I hate it, and it happens to me often. But most of the time, it's just, you know, headbutt.
I've seen like teams.
All my headbutts go up to the
Oh, I got another question
Hit me.
that I think is pretty good. Okay, so when I was doing a lesson with Mo Jolly, she said that her team's usual strat is they'll have 2 people, like say they're going for the joust. They have 2 people at 2 and 2 people at 5. She'll be at 5 and she'll kind of go based on if they get the joust. What does your team usually do?
That's exactly what our team does. Me and my player will be right here, or at least back there, and judging by if we win the joust, we're going to go straight down there, and we're going to be open for passes, and if we lose the joust, then I'm going to come out to goal, and he's going to kind of be on shield, waiting for cut passes and whatnot, or jumping out of them to punch them. But yeah, that's a great strat, and that's what we use on instinct, at least for our joust. It's also well, there's a whole bunch of different strats. I know I'm not trying to expose Wireless Jacks, but they have an awesome joust where instead of going like low left or low right, they'll have a second stack come out of top tube, and then as soon as they win joust, they'll throw it up, and then that team just comes straight through, and then they have it that way. So there's actually a whole bunch of different ways you can do it, but we do the same way Mojali does it, which is we just hang out and then we'll boost down. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I don't know. Any other second questions? No?
One more.
Yeah. Hit me. Yeah, unlimited questions. Keep going.
Do you have any accessory, like headset or controller accessories that you highly recommend as a goalie?
I wouldn't say as a goalie, I wouldn't say none of these help me in goal, but I would say that if you do have the Rift S, or even the Quest, probably, yeah, the same thing. If you have the Rift S or Quest, I would say get AM VR grips, because the little strap that your thing comes with is super crappy. Like, it's like, each time you throw, at least for me, the thing would like, the string would like explode basically, and like stretch out super far. Yeah,
I got the grip for that very reason.
Yeah. So I got my grips. I got any sort of grips.
And so are the grips, are you talking about just the ones that go over your hand, or are you talking about
the ones I have? Grips? I have the ones that go over my knuckles, but I would say any grips in general are going to be better than what the Quest and the Rift S offer.
Because I have a Quest, and I was going to get just the strap that goes over, but the Quest ones I find are really kind of slippery, and I'd still kind of even mess it up.
I also suggest
tighten it a little bit.
Mammoth VR. Those grips, I have Mammoth grips on right now. They're really
I have ones that go all around my controller and go over my hand.
The newer ones have like index type of foam padding that you can put on. You know, the index controllers, they have that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like
Any advice on clears?
On what? Sorry?
Like, you get a save and you're...
Oh, right, and where to clear. See, so fun fact about me as a player, my name is Cruisen, right? And I have been coined pretty much the worst clear in the game. I have every time
I
you clear
I'm the second runner-up.
Right, every time you clear a disc and it comes straight back, it's known as a cruising clear, okay? So I wouldn't take tips from me, but I would say there's definitely blocks that you can bounce off of. Like, if you, like, what I'll do, also, this is super huge, I can't believe I didn't even say this. As soon as you make a save, at least in my eyes, the #1 thing that you need to do is get the disc out of your hands as quickly as possible. So I'll make a save, and I'm instantly throwing it out of my hands with my right hand or my left hand, and I'm just getting it away from me. If you do, like, let's say Mr. Nate Bros comes in, I steal the disc from him, then I can give myself more time to look for a clear. But I would say it's more important to make the save and get the disc out of your hands so they can't steal it back and put it in. It's more important than finding a clear, in my opinion.
Sometimes I just wind up like finding myself holding it for a few milliseconds, like, I actually caught the disc.
Yep.
Damn.
There's been a couple times where I'll save it and I'll instantly throw it, and they'll still end up grabbing it and putting it in anyways.
Yeah.
But it's just the thought in doing it will save you a lot of the time, because then it doesn't give them that extra like, okay, he just saved it. Okay, let me dunk it back in his face, because you know.
I've been trying to get really good at when I make the save and I'm right here, because a good team will have bottom, back in the tunnels, and nest covered. So like Mo Jolly recommended, always clear it to the side. So I'm trying to say like, I'm trying to say like I catch it with my right hand, backhand it. Always backhand it. Even if I catch it like this, backhand it. That's what I'm trying to get used to.
Right, this is just in general for all clears, because one of my teammates told me this. He said the common golden rule is if you get the disc on one side of the field, you clear it to the opposite side of the field. I know we talked about having both clears caught up, like, you know, we talked about having one of your players cover both clears. Most of the time, it's not going to be covered. I'm telling you how I do things on instinct. We'll cover both lanes, but if you get the disc on one side, clear it to the other side. But yeah, getting the disc out of your hands is huge. But also, I don't know if you guys have watched the more recent games. I don't know if you guys know who YouTube.com is or xxx.com or whatever. But he actually, he actually has some. He actually has some insanely good clears. Like one time I saw him come out and he threw it off of this block right here. And it bounced off, and it just perfectly went downfield. Or it might have been right here, too. You can aim for this block. You can aim for the wall over here. Honestly, anything out of your hands is the best. But
yeah, I just kind of throw it and hope my teammates can go and
right. That's
I tend to make a lot of accidental clears throwing it right here.
Yep. And then it'll bounce out, or are you talking about it'll come back?
Like, no, it'll like do a full... I've actually got the goal by hitting it like right here and it went in.
Yeah, but yeah, just...
I have...
Go ahead.
Big question. I'm asking for a friend.
Asking
for a friend.
Yep.
What happens if you have high ping and you're trying to go and asking for a friend?
That's a hard question, honestly. I would say as soon as you're above about a 110, 120 ping, it's going to be pretty much almost impossible to save everything. Not everything, but anything.
So theoretically, if you live in New Zealand and you get 200 ping,
right.
Theoretically.
It's going to be very challenging for your friend. Whoever your friend is, honestly, you know, it might be very hard for that person.
That sucks for him, right?
But I can tell you that I was named also the slideshow because my ping was so bad, and I played with like 300 ping. Yeah. It is possible to make saves. I would say you have better chances of high ping if you jump out at them because, you know, then you can kind of abuse your ping. But other than that, you're going to catch the disc, you're going to see it change colors, and then it's just going to go in anyways because you're ping, which is very
good thing I got a CV1 right before the season started. My ping on Quest was like 500.
That Wi-Fi is is crazy.
I've got terrible Wi-Fi.
Yep.
With high ping, you can read where the disc is going, but as soon as it gets like kinda close to you, it teleports into real. Like it's
Cruisen, I'm assuming trying to save 18 or 19 is just based on luck completely.
I wouldn't say that. I would say it's more based on where they're shooting. If they're like right here and they're shooting 18 to 19, it's basically all going to be based on if you know where they're going to shoot it. Like if it's going to go low, it's pretty much luck if they're right here. If they're shooting 18s or 19s on threes, it's actually not that hard to save. Depending on where they go. If they do backboard just straight at you, it's going to be easy to save. But right here, 18 to 19s, it's kind of just knowing where the player's going to shoot and being lucky. Yeah. Pretty much, there's a huge luck factor. I would say a goalie can averagely save like, you know, maybe 20 goals. Maybe. That's if you do well. But I only have like a 23 or 24% save rate. So it's like, you know, you get the ratio.
Yeah, I managed to work my way up to like 27. I don't know how I did that.
I would say even 17, 18 is really good for a save rate. I wouldn't even look at it. It's not really that important of a stat.
That's no problem.
I mean,
mine's at 23, even though it was at 9 like 2 days ago. So I don't know how that happened.
But I've got like a bajillion ping.
22.7.
High for me.
Nice, you guys are insane then.
I met a guy with a 30 once.
Yeah, on a couple of my Smurfs when I was just like messing around in pubs, I think I got up to 30. Like, but now, since I have like 4,000 games or whatever, I have to play like 100 games and do perfect in goal for it to change anything.
What about
Dash is good. Dash is insane. I don't know if he's playing too much anymore. His save rate, I think, is about a 26, 28 maybe. It might even be a 28. I don't know. It's up there though. I never got to meet Atmosphere, like the EU goalie of the legend goalie. But, But yeah, that pretty much.
Wait, Cruisen, does he play anymore?
Yeah. Who, Affentair or Dash?
Yeah, Affen.
Affentair retired 3 seasons ago, 2 seasons ago.
Oh.
So no, he doesn't play. I don't even know what games he's playing or what he's doing. I never even got to meet him. But yeah, Dash just I think retired last season or is not playing. I'm not sure.
I got one more question.
Hit me.
Do you have any goalies you recommend watching, even if they don't play anymore?
I would recommend watching, even talking to Mizuchi. Mizuchi literally, like when I started playing this game, Mizuchi taught me how to be goalie. The man's a legend. He's like one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. So I would recommend Mizuchi. I'd recommend Will I Am. Will is a really good goalie. I mean, these are all guys that you're probably gonna meet in pubs. Obviously, you know, I don't know. If you see me in pubs, hit me up too. But Mizuchi and Will are probably the 2 ones off the top of my head right now that I can think of. That I would. Alduin is good. Majali is good. All these, pretty much any top goalie you're gonna find is gonna want to help you. Is willing to help you. Everybody's good.
Mojali's super cool. I literally just went to Discord. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. I'm
right.
Mojali was like, yeah, I'll give you a free lesson.
Yeah. Pretty much any top goalie you'll find is gonna be willing to help. I promise you. Yeah. It's
if you're watching the stream, hit me up.
I love you, but I would say you guys picked a very good position because goalkeeper is like one of the most sought after positions. So when shit hits the fan and new teams are starting to be created, you guys are like the most sought after player for sure. You know, unless another insane player like Strembitsky or one of those guys is available, then you're kind of cut. But Alduin rose to the top very, very fast. He was like, you know, just a pub guy, and then he made a few saves, and then he popped off. Yeah, now he's insane. So, you know, it doesn't take much time apparently. It took me a little bit, but you know, it wouldn't take you guys too long. But yeah.
I wish I was in a region that had more than 6 teams. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. I super do. I appreciate you guys like coming and asking questions and wanting to learn.
Yeah,
like, thank you. You guys are awesome, and I hope to see all you guys like popping off in league. You guys all on teams? Or wanting to be?
I've actually got a game tonight.
On a team?
So
Pog, I will be watching on a team.
If it's streamed, I don't know.
Team?
Hold on, let me check.
Yep. Cass, team, Mitch Nate, everybody. Cedric, you on a team?
I am
Gold diggers.
You're not? I would go to I would go to Scrim
Yeah.
Organizer if you have Scrim Organizer.
So I don't tell me about it.
Or Cam, how do you find just ask Cam.
How do I
Cam
find
is
teams?
the king. Cam is the king of joining and leaving. I mean, joining teams.
Wow.
I got called a team hopper a bit. But
Cam made like 4 teams in a month.
Basically, you join a team and then you like
I
pop
wish
off.
you luck, dude. I wish you luck.
Thanks.
You just like try hard on a team, just like a random team. You want to join like a team? You want to join like a team that it's like a new team that needs players. Like they don't really care about stats or anything, and then you kind of like prove yourself, and then like other teams kind of look at you and they're like,
yeah.
Yep,
So my thing right now is I don't have a whole bunch of time. I know I can't do VRML. I'm just looking like, you know, is there the Discord where I could just go and say, hey, I just want to play a game, not looking at
private matches.
Team, but I just want to play.
Looking for games.
You might go in the
private matches.
In the arena one I was just invited to. That's what you do?
So Echo Stream Organizer, it's called LFG. It's called Looking for Game, and that basically means people are just trying to start private matches and play better than pub matches.
And that's on
sure to spam at boys.
Yeah.
That's on the arena thing I was just with this new Discord.
The Echo. If Cam sent you the Echo Stream Organizer, then yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And also, like, getting rejected from a team is, like, pretty common. Like, it happens to me. I'm rejected from a certain team that's hit 3.
It happens,
I keep punching my table, so I had to put a pool noodle on it.
But that, I mean, that's pretty much it, boys. You guys are all legends. You guys are all legends. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up, asking questions. I hope to see all of you guys in the Echo Hall of Fame in about 3 years.
just you wait.
I'm
mentally remembering all of your names. So, and if you do anything wrong, I can instantly be mad at you.
I might go in there for being the person who whined enough the developers got sick of me and gave OC service to us. That'll be me.
But
Echo in 3 years when it finally comes out for the Oculus Go.
That pretty much concludes my event, though.
What,
We're
3 years after they cut support for it?
2 minutes before the thing.
Is there...
Yeah, that's when they make the Hall of Fame.
Well, thanks, Cruisen.
No
I can't clap, so I'm just gonna...
Yep. Clap. Tiny little clap. Yep. Okay, perfect. If you guys have any further questions, even if you guys, like, have your game, like, let's say you guys are all on team, right, and you have a bad game, let me know. Like, if it's streamed, I'll help you. I'll watch it and help you guys or whatever. Just let me know. Message me on Discord or anything if you guys need.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yep, I will be playing pubs maybe, so if I see you, let me win. Goodbye. I love each and every one.